During your time with Swamiji, could you share stories of the time in India, and in addition talk on the appearance with Swamiji on the TV series he did?
So the appearance on the TV series that he did happened in two stages. One stage of it was that we sang with Ananda and Kirtani from Italy, and Leela, who was Swamiji's cook and housekeeper. We formed a little singing group and recorded several albums that are still out there, Philosophy in Song 1 and Canto 2, and even a third, I think, that maybe never came out, but we did record the songs for it. And then we videoed all of that with the good recording, and those songs were tied to what he talked about. He would reference them and sort of, or he would connect what he was saying with his program. And so we were also on TV. In fact, at one point there was a marriage proposal that came in for any of the three ladies who might be available, which just was amazing to us that such a thing, and it was a serious proposal apparently. Anyway, this was not quite how it's done in the West, shall we say, but it was very sweet in its way. But anyway, the second phase of the television program, Swamiji was on TV every day of the year, and those programs, and we were involved in filming that and helping him with those things, and we were present for all of that recording. But we always wanted, throughout those years, and he must have picked up on this, maybe I even mentioned it to him, we loved watching him talk, and so he was the head, he was the person, and the camera was always on him, and he would answer questions sometimes, but we remembered from the years that we traveled with him, spent time with him, these incredible conversations. Often they would happen over the dinner table, or they would happen around tea in the afternoon. Just these really rich, deep conversations. And we often wished that there was a way to capture that on video, the nuanced conversation that would happen around him. And once you turn a camera on, it kind of changes the energy a little bit. But at a certain point, toward the end of our time in India, he asked us to record programs called Ask Me About Truth. And Bara, if you wanted to, you could post a link for that in the chat for people. People get stumped on YouTube trying to figure out how to find something, but if you search for Ask Me About Truth, Swami Kriyananda, you'll find the whole series. We've recorded 108 of those. For some reason, there are only 102 of them on the playlist. But anyway, we recorded these with him, starting in India, and then we finished later in Italy. We did about 50 of them in India, and the remaining 58 in in Italy. And I remember the first time we sat with him, he wanted us to ask him questions about truth, about life, with a spiritual overtone to it, but not too particular to this path. And so we had just taken Nayaswami vows not too long before that, and we dressed in blue as we are now. So we came to the recording dressed in blue like we always are. And he said, no, I want you, go back, get a white shirt and a tie. Which it was like, I had one tie, and it took me a long time to find it. Meanwhile, the cameras are ready, everything's ready to go. And so anyway, we changed our attire to Western attire so that we looked a little different, and it was not immediately obvious that we were sort of trying to follow in his path. But then those programs were very spontaneous, and we listed out questions. We very quickly learned, because when he would meet us before the filming, he would say, "So, what are we going to talk about today?" And we said a few times, "Well, we were going to ask you about this." Well, he would start answering it right then, before the cameras were started. And he would give his best answer then, and it would be like, "No, Swami, we want to catch that." And then when the cameras were rolling, he'd give another answer that was good and wonderful, but not as wonderful as the first one. So we kept it a secret after that. We would always be spontaneous, but we never knew whether his answer would be one or two sentences, or sometimes literally he would say no or yes to a question that he could have gone on and on about. Or if he would take the entire 12, 13, 14 minutes. Sometimes we would ask the question and he would answer it for the whole time. Other times he would answer for a minute or 3 minutes or 5 minutes. We just never knew. So it was a very spontaneous process. It kept us on our toes very much, because we always had to be ready for a next question. There were a few times where we were challenged, shall we say. But anyway, it was very sweet. And
it was a wonderful creative process.
Very much a creative process, and one that we hope to write a book about and share more specifically, because there's so much in what he said, and more could be understood from it, because it's not even just what he said, it's how he said what he said, and what did it imply. And it's just powerful. And that's one of the things that a disciple does, is try to understand, what is the Guru saying? Why is he saying it? How is he saying it? What can I learn and what can I share from that? And so that's a gift to the world, and you can see it any time of the day. Some of those programs have been watched hundreds of thousands of times, and they're there as a resource for the world. And so it's a beautiful opportunity to take advantage of that.
They were the last video project that he did.
Yeah, yeah.